Well, we're in. First fish of the day. What's this? Welcome guys. You join me here on the River Wye, and today we've come trotting for chub and barbel. It's early in the season. I think it's the 20th of June, so the season's only been going for 4 or 5 days. In fact, it was the longest night last night. It was the solstice, so we've got one of the longest days of the year today. And the plan is to kind of trot down this lovely glide using a big float. I'll show you the setup later. Feeding pellets and hemp as we go, and just fishing little cubes of meat. And the idea is just to keep trickling in the pellets, keep trickling in the hemp, and just hold that float back and see what happens. And this is the second trot down, and I'm already into a chub. The guys above me are fishing, and they've been catching plenty of chub as I've been setting up, so I'm hoping we're in for a fairly good day. This feels like a chub. It's not holding bottom like a brick, like a barbel often does. So unless it's a very small barbel, I'm fairly sure it's a chub. Let's have a look. There he is, yeah. Now the river's pushing through. It's probably up about, I don't know, half a foot on normal levels. And it's quite coloured as well for the time of year. It's normally low and very clear this time of year. But right now it's certainly up a little bit, but I don't think it's going to affect the fishing. And as you can see already, it's not. That is a lovely chub. I wouldn't mind catching them all day long. I need to tighten that drag up. There we go. Oh, lovely. Lovely stamp of fish, these Wye chub. There we go. What's that? 3.5 pounds, maybe a touch more. Cracking. Let's get you in. I think we call that releasing yourself. And say that was the second cast, so I'm pretty hopeful of a few fish today. So I got size 10 on. I'll run you through the proper setup in a little bit. Just a little cube of meat. You can see that. I'm just feeding a little handful of, it's 4mm krill pellets and a bit of hemp. I'm just going to keep dropping that in. You need to find your depth really at the beginning. I mean, this is the first few trots through, so I want to be able to just hold back and trip bottom. If it goes under like that too much, I should shallow up a touch. I'll stick it out for now in case I can find the place to hold back at. And we're in again. Oh, this is great. This is great fun. It's coming up, feels like a chub again. No, I'm certainly not complaining. They're lovely fish. I'm sure if we keep ploughing through, we'll get a barbel eventually. It must be thick with fish down there. It really must. Another nice chub. See the hook just in the corner of the mouth there. This might be a bit hairy, handing this one. Oh, it's a big one. Oh. Oh. That's well over 4 pounds. Can you see that, guys? Oh. Lovely. I'll get you back. You're in again. Same spot. It feels a bit better than the last fish, but I think it's just another nice chub. I don't say that with any disappointment, they're lovely fish. It's not the barbel we've maybe came for at the moment, but you can't you can't not enjoy this sport. There we go. Cracking fish, absolute cracking fish. There we go. Yeah, we're in again. This feels like a good fish. Oh, right, time to change. Time to change up length. That's bumped the last 4 or 5 fish, so that's not good. There we go. That feels good. Well guys, we're in. I think this is a barbel. Oh, it's off, it's off. Yeah, that feels like a barbel. First fish today I've really had to give line to. Oh, it's off. Ah! Bollocks. Isn't that Kingfisher again? Yeah, and again. Oh, they're lovely fish, these. Feels like another chub. Hanging down the end of the swim there. I'm just keeping the feed going in. Every cast, just a little bit of feed, cast, trot down, rinse and repeat really. And seem to be kind of focusing a few fish there further down the swim, which is working out. At the moment it's all chub. There's nothing wrong with that. So they're cracking fish. There we go, coming into the shallows. There he is, hello. Oh, let's just pick you up. There you go, look at that. Fantastic. Just in the corner of the mouth. It's good. Well, 3.5, knocking on 4 probably. It's the average sort of stamp here. Right, off you go. Fantastic. Hiya. And again, that boat's just literally gone over the head of that, so you know, it just goes to show the fish are not bothered by these boats. I seem to find that holding it back actually in the swim is working best for me right now. I think I've got the depth and the feeding right, and now I'm just finding that the slowing it down in the current, particularly in the bite zone, which is just near this willow in front of me, is working really well. Feels like another nice chub. I tell you, my arm's aching already. It's only I've only been fishing 3 hours. Doesn't get dark till about 10 o'clock tonight, so I don't know what I'll be like by the end of today. And I got 2 more days after this as well, so I know I'm like Popeye. Right, come on, you. There we go. There we go. Lovely. Look at that. It's great when you get into the groove like this, with the feeding and the depth, and you start to get like build a routine really. Okay guys, I thought I'd just quickly show you the setup that I'm using today. I've got a reel spooled up with 8-pound line for trotting. On the end, I've got a 5-pound fluoro hook length with a size 10 Guru, I think it's NWG hook on that. Attaching the hook length to the main line, I've got a small kind of quick change swivel. I don't know if you can see that, so I can quickly change between one hook length and another. And I've done that today a couple of times when I felt like the hook was getting a bit blunt. I've then got an Olivet on the line there between 2 float stops. That's a 6-gram Olivet. And then from that, as you can probably guess, the float is also a 6-gram. It's a Dave Harrell #1 alloy Sten 6-gram, and that really is allowing me to kind of hold and control the float really nicely in this. And I found like, you know, the bigger the float, the better for this sort of fishing really. And 6 grams seems to be about right. I've done sort of 4 gram and it's okay, but 6 just allows me to kind of really boss the current and control that float. And another part of controlling the float today is the rod as well. So I've got a Daiwa Connoisseur, it's 17 foot. It's the first time I've had this out today. 17 foot is a long trotting rod. Whenever I've trotted in the past, I've always felt I needed just like a little bit more length just to kind of get behind the line, control it, mend the line, and also pick the line up when I'm striking at distance. And I thought, well, let's just bite the bullet and get 17 foot and see how it goes. And I'm really impressed with it actually. Yeah, it's great for this style of fishing. So it seems to be working well. And in terms of bait, I'm just using little cubes of luncheon meat like that on the size 10 Guru NWG hook. And I'm feeding 4mm krill pellets mixed in with some hemp as well. I don't know if you can see that, okay. So I'm just getting a little handful, maybe, I don't know, that much. Chucking it out. Okay, and really as far as I can throw is where I'm casting to and following down that loose feed. And control the float as it goes down, you know, stay in contact with it. You determine how fast you want it to go. And as you sort of fish the swim, you tend to find where the bites are. If you hold back hard, obviously it lifts the bait up off the bottom. So if there's a bite. If there's some shallower bits in the swim, you can always hold back hard, you know, and lift the float up over them. And deeper spots, you can also let it kind of drop into them a little bit. Just play around and see what works in the day. Sometimes they want it fast, sometimes they want it slow. It's just a case of experimentation, but once you kind of nail it, you find where they are and how they want the bait on the day, you can often kind of, you know, catch quite a few fish one after the other using exactly the same approach. So just experiment. Oh, we're in again. This feels better. Still thumping, but it's quite solid. I think it's probably still a chub. Again, it's kiting into the shallows. Ooh, that was a big fish crashed out there, exactly where I'm catching. That was a good size fish. I could have easily been a barbel. Right, let's not focus on that, let's focus on this. Oh, that hook is just clinging on there. Here we go, another lovely chub. Straight back. Okay guys, just a quick update. So I'm back out in the river, starting to trot again. It's nearly 5 o'clock. Everyone that's on the stretch fishing here before has all left. So there was 5 of us here before. Now there's just me. So I've moved up to the top of the gully to have a go at trotting down here. I've been feeder fishing for the last hour or two just to kind of relax a little bit in the middle of the day. Things have gone a little bit quiet. I caught 2 or 3 chub. Nice fish, you'll have seen them probably by now. So it's time to get out and do a little bit more float fishing and see how we're going. I'm going to keep feeding as it was before, like this kind of slightly higher up swim. And I don't know if you can see this, but there's like a willow here on the far side that's kind of broken in. And you'll see the white water, the bubbles kind of going down the far side. What I'm looking to do is fish just this side of the bubbles. Okay, because that's where there's a gully. And I'm hoping that's where the most fish will be. So I'll go out as far as I can safely go. Okay, and then hopefully just trot down behind the rod tip into the gully and see if we can't catch ourselves some chub. And, well, fingers crossed, let's see if there's any barbel home here as well. Right, let's go. It's very slippy rocks here. I don't actually feel like I want to go any further than that. Okay. Yeah, that's good. I can feed into the gully quite nicely. Just by hand, don't need the catapult. Right, I'm going to have to try and figure out what the depth is. I've got it set to about 4 or 5 foot. I suspect that's not deep enough, but we'll see. There's been a couple of guys, really nice guys, fishing this today, and they seem to have done really well for chub. I think they lost 1 barbel, but I mean, they must have lost count of how many chub they caught. They fed a lot of hemp and a lot of castor, and they left about an hour ago, so the swim's had a bit of a break, and I'll give it a go for the last remaining part of the day. And there we go, we're into one. Yep. First cast down, first trot. Oh, you're going to love the River Wye, haven't you? That was right down towards the bottom of the swim, kind of close to where my previous trot started, really. There's so much pressure on the line when you kind of do this, but there's no easy way to have the net out here, really, so I accept I'm going to lose a few fish. Here we go. There we are. First trot down, how's about that? Fantastic. Where's my disgorger? There it is. There you go, cracking, absolute cracker. Right. First of many more, hopefully. Let's let you go. Thank you very much. Wonderful, absolutely wonderful. This is what we come to the Wye for. Right, let's get straight back out, shall we? So a little cube of meat. I've actually changed over to bacon grill this, which is actually nearly half the price of Spam. Tulip bacon grill. You can get it from Tesco's. It's £1.70 a tin. Slightly smaller tin than a tin of Spam. You can buy more of them. And it's a little bit harder. It stays on the hook a little bit better, actually. So in many respects, it's good. Let's give it another go. That's it, just on the inside of that bubble line, run it down. Just hold it back gently, bend the line. That's nice. Lovely. We're in again. Same spot. Absolutely brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I have to say, this is a new rod to me. This is, I say, it's 17-foot Daiwa connoisseur, and normally I fish kind of 13-foot. I was thinking about getting 15, but why not just go the whole hog, get a really long rod for swims like this, where I can just hold the float, really trot behind it, and with a nice straight line. I can mend the line so easily, I can strike at distance really easily. And although it's definitely a little bit heavier than an average rod, it's worth it, you know. I really feel like I've got control, and it's really fun playing as well. It's got a very soft tip action, so, you know, chub like this are just so much fun to play like this. Here it comes. I can't imagine what a barbel's going to feel like. Oh, my arm. I'm going to sleep well tonight. Tighten that drag a bit more. Oh, let's make sure you can see what's going on. There we go. Lovely, there we go. And where is my... There it is. Same spot again. How's about that, guys? Wonderful. Let's let you go. Get some oxygen back in your gills and off you go. I know I said it before, but it's really nice standing in the river, letting fish go like that. It really is. Let that drag off. There we go. Well, it's been going down really freely actually. The only time it's gone under was with fish, so I'm actually gonna just move the float up a bit. I want to make sure I'm near the bottom in case there are barbel here and I'm presenting the bait to them. Chub will come up off the bottom, but barbel will tend to stay down, so I really want to be down near them. If I keep touching the bottom, it causes problems. Even when I'm holding back, I'll shallow up again, but it's just about finding that depth, getting that balance. See, it went under there. I think that was probably touching bottom. I'm going to shallow up. I think that's probably about right. Oops, I'm going to lose that. A bit more baiting. There we go. Make sure I've got that line behind the float. I'm in control. There we go. Off we go. Hold it back. Now, if you get a bite, often you actually feel a thump. You know, you feel a thump on the rod tip as much as you see the float go under. Just running past the tip of the willow there. That looks lovely. Oh, there's a little dip, missed it. On again, yeah, we're in. Biting well. This fish is holding far down the swim. I'm still pretty confident the way it's kiting in. It's a chub. It's got a long way to come up. It really is prolific fishing. I try really hard not to take these fish for granted. Oh, on the Neen back home, I'd be very happy with a fish like that. And they're almost a fish a cast here. Well, they are at the moment. Look at that. Proper chub. Really swallowed it down. All in the same spot. Absolute belter. Off we go. Yeah. right down at the bottom again. Again, holding back is really working at the moment. As I hold back, I can feel it, but I can also, you know, slightest dip and it's under. And I can slow it right down. Feels like a good fish again. It's staying in the middle here and sort of working its way upstream. I still think it's a chub actually. It's what barbel do is they tend to sort of stay on the bottom in the fast water and boss you around. This is lifted up off the bottom now, banging its head. Yeah, it's a chub. Chub often kind of take the easy route. They come into the slack, look for the snags. Barbel just hold it in the hard stuff. Oh, that's a proper fish. Gosh, if I weighed that one, that's well over 4 pounds. Real battered one as well. If it was filled out, that wouldn't be far off 5 probably. Lovely. There you go. Just magic. Absolute magic. Here, we've not really talked much about wildlife today, have we? So I'd say we've seen a lot of kingfishers and things, but a notable bird we see a lot on the Wye, and I've seen quite a few times today already, is it's an invasive species actually. It's a bird called the Mandarin Duck. Okay, now the male, I'll show an image on screen here. As you'd expect, they kind of come from Asia, I'm guessing China, Mandarin. They are the most flamboyant ducks you could ever care to see. Sort of bright orange with like curly, tufty tail feathers, and you name it, it's got it, you know. And they've been establishing in the UK for at least the last 20 years. I remember seeing them as a kid actually in Leeds, so that was 30 years ago. But now they're one of the commonest ducks you'll see up and down on the Wye. The females are much more drab and the chicks are much more drab as well, as often the case in ducks. But if you get to see a male, they're absolutely cracking. Should they be here or not? Well, no, they shouldn't. What damage they're doing, I don't know, to our kind of native fauna, native ducks, but they're quite a sight to see on the river. Oh, I think I've got one right down at the bottom of the swim. Gosh, that was really far down. Oh, that must be nearly 100 metres away. Or maybe 70, I don't know. Long way down the swim, I could barely see the float. I was just about to pull it back in and I saw it dip as I was holding back, so confident it was a bite, yeah. Right, you have to wind this bad boy in. It's coming in quite quickly actually. I think it's swimming towards me quite compliantly. Good. Lovely. Maybe 2 pounds that one. It's a bit smaller. Here you go. Where are the barbel though? I spoke to a few fishermen today and most people have been struggling actually for barbel the last few days. Not many seem to be coming in. I've not looked at the catch returns, I'll probably do that later. People I saw here and the fishermen that wandered up and down for a chat, they've They've all been struggling. So I don't know, maybe the conditions aren't quite right for them, but the chub are certainly on the feed. Still feel like there's a barbel in the swim to be caught. Just need to keep plugging away. There's a fish. Feels like a good one as well. You can't get much better than this in fishing, you really can't. If you've not been down to the Wye and tried trotting luncheon meat with a big old stick float, heavy line, 8-pound line, feeding a bit of hemp pellet, caster, whatever you got, just keep that bait trickling in. You can have some magic fishing, you really can. Another chub. Lovely. That's lovely. Yep, fish on. Wasn't sure there. Oh, I lost count of how many fish I caught today, all chub. But I mean, they're averaging, as you've seen, like, you know, somewhere between 3 and 4 pounds, probably 3.5, about average. I mean, I must have had over 30, maybe something like 40 chubs. That's like £100 of chub trotting on the float like this. It's just wonderful. There we go. Next one coming in. Say that averaging 3 to 4. Well, that's 2.5 probably, that one. There we go. Lovely. I'm probably fishing about 10 foot deep now with the float because I'm holding back so hard. I'm still catching fish, so perhaps I should have been a bit deeper all along and slowing it down. That's where the barbel are. It's at the bottom. No, it's not the bottom. It just tapped its head. Feels like another good chub. Oh. How's about that? Ah, look, it's spawning. Look, sorry, there's... Yeah, I'll put him back. There's milk coming out of that one. That's what's going on. And I have to say, like, you know, catching chub like that that's spawning, I mean, obviously I don't want to do that, but it shows what a nonsense the close season is as well. You know, why have a close season on rivers when you don't have it on lakes? Why are there different rules between the different venue types? That doesn't make sense at all. If it's about protecting fish in the breeding season, then we're not. You know, fish are still breeding now, you know, and barbel probably might be as well in some areas. To me, open up the rivers, let people fish it year round, and let the clubs manage it themselves. You know, if the clubs decide they want to close because the barbel are spawning or maybe the chub's spawning, absolutely fine, let them do it on an individual basis. You know, it's just a nonsense. You know, the rivers are in their finest form when you look at them in May and sometimes in April too, and it's so hard as a fisherman to have to wait until the middle of June. You know, just as the clocks change and things start to warm up, as spring kicks in, we've got through the dark winter days, you're not allowed to fish. There's lots of countries in Europe don't have a close season and they manage their fish just as well. So I really think we need to rethink this. It's an old law, it's outdated, it's had its day. Yeah, we're in. And keep feeding as I bring the fish in. They're really on the feed now. I'll keep them going. Another cracker. Look at that in the evening sun. Magic.